Hey bookworms, welcome back to my channel and to another review. Actually, this review is not really something that I was planning on doing. You see, what happened was that I was getting nowhere with the books that I was reading with the plan of reviewing. I had to give one of them up because it was really boring, and then the other one I'm still reading it, I'm giving it a chance. I want to finish it and review it, but it's also, God, it's a chore, let me tell you that. So anyway, I decided that I need a break. I was getting nowhere with the books that I was reading, so I decided to chill and to reread one of my favorite books of all time, Making History by Stephen Fry. First time I read this book, I was a teenager. I think I was like 16. I was like almost half my life ago, and the last time that I read it was a few years ago. So as I was reading it, I realized that I was kind of seeing it in a different pair of eyes. I could kind of reevaluate it, and during reading, as I reached these conclusions, I thought, you know, what the hell, I'll just review it, because it's not like I'm always reviewing the newest books, and this is again one of my favorite books ever, so I want to share it with you guys. So the protagonist of this book is Michael Young, who is a history doctorate student who managed to gain access to a time machine, so he goes back in time and erases Adolf Hitler from being born, thinking that he did a huge favor to the entire world. However, when he reached the new world that he created, he realized that the new present is actually a lot worse than the one he changed and left behind. Black people can only work as like cleaning staff, homosexuality is illegal, and there are almost no Jews left in the entire world. So now Michael has to find a time machine again, go back in time, and save Adolf Hitler. Let's start with a big issue here. Stephen Fry is a comedian. This book is funny, and it's also about the Nazis. If you can't handle books about Hitler, about Nazis, Holocaust, World War II, and much less if they are a comedy, then this is simply not the book for you, and it's fine. Now, let me tell you right now that I did not feel for a moment that Stephen Fry was disrespecting the victims of the Holocaust or Holocaust survivors, and he did not belittle the horrors that they went through by any means. As I said, this is one of my favorite books ever, so obviously this is going to be a very positive review. However, I do understand that this book is not for everybody, regardless of the Holocaust theme that, you know, some people have problem with, and this is fine. You need to choose for yourself what you can read. But there is another thing that I feel that other people might have problem with, and this is actually the writing style. I felt like the book was very blabbery. Michael tells the story from his first-person narrative, and every now and then he will go into this kind of, I don't know, mental rant, I suppose, kind of stream of consciousness soliloquy or something like that, and he will just talk and talk and talk about whatever, sometimes things that are heavily related to the plot, but not always. Now, I didn't find it that bad because I really love Stephen Fry, and I felt that Michael, similarly to the author, was kind of full of himself. I mean, I love Stephen Fry, but like the guy has 3 autobiographies. So I don't know, because I also like Stephen Fry, maybe I found it a little bit endearing. Also, they show us a little bit about Michael's personality, which I found were relevant to the story. And you know what? In parts where I figure out when this entire paragraph is just a rant and I will not get any more information or anything important out of it, I skimmed it. Come on guys, that was like the 4th time that I read this book. I'm allowed to skim read. But I suppose the biggest criticism that I have for this book, and this is interesting because it's something that I didn't notice when I was reading the book when I was younger, that is the fact that there is something very easy and lightweight about the book. I felt like Stephen Fry was kind of presenting very interesting, deep questions like, what if Hitler didn't exist? Maybe the Holocaust would have still happened. And giving us also other points of view, not just of people who thought that the Holocaust was horrible, but also there is one character, one German character, who years after World War II said that it was all herd mentality. Everyone thought these things about the Jews. Or there is one character whose father was part of the SS, and he, even years later, feels so guilty about things that he didn't do but his father did. I thought it was very interesting, but that's actually all that happened. All he did was just raising these questions without attempting to answer them, without attempting to even delve deeper into them. But I do think that perhaps, this is a theory, maybe it was done on purpose because, as I said, this book is a bit more of a comedy, and there is a limit, even in dark comedies, to how deeper and psychologically you can get into things without losing this comedy effect. But also, I think that maybe it was done in order to this book to fit to a wider audience. But wait, didn't you say that this is one of your favorite books ever? Why are you talking about the problematic things? Well, I don't know. I suppose that it's easier for me to talk about negatives. I can really pinpoint what I didn't like, and it's a lot easier than talking about what I love, because sometimes it's so instinctive, especially in a book like that I read so many years ago and I really loved it. And yeah, it's a bit difficult to say what I loved about it, but I love the concept. I love Michael, the protagonist, even though he has flaws. I like the quirky way in which it was written, and I really love the combination between comedy and humor and dark subjects. And what better way to combine them than to have a partially Jewish comedian writing about saving Adolf Hitler. And that's all I'm going to say about the book. I really loved it. I really hope you'll also give it a chance if you have no qualms about reading of these subjects that I talked about. Also, if you like Stephen Fry, if you like his style of comedy, definitely give this book a chance. I've read all of his 4 fiction novels. This is definitely my favorite. But yeah, give it a chance and let me know if you read anything else by Stephen Fry and if you like it. So guys, thank you very much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to click like to show your support and subscribe to my channel if you dare. And also write down in the comments section if there is this one book that you absolutely love and you've read like millions of times, but you can't really explain why you love it. Anyway, guys, thank you again for watching and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.